What's up everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a $22,000 land wholesale. That's right, wholesaling a vacant piece of land. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video so you can learn how to make thousands of dollars off wholesaling vacant land. Stick around to the end of the video. Also, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you go down below, hit the red button and subscribe to the channel. It helps me reach more people and impact more lives, so I'd really appreciate it if you go subscribe. Other than that, let's get right into the video. All right, so that's right. Today we are covering a $22,000 vacant land wholesale deal I did. But first off, we just hit 10,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for getting me to the 10,000 subscriber milestone. I always wanted to be a successful YouTuber, so I'm really appreciative that you guys were able to help me get to 10,000 subscribers. And I'm glad that I'm able to bring you this educational content in order to help you in your real estate journey. But let's jump right into it. So how did we get the lead for this vacant piece of land? We got this lead from cold calling. We were cold calling a list of houses, but they didn't want to sell their house, but they said, you know what, we have this vacant piece of land out in Whitman, Arizona, and we'd like to sell it. You know, we're not going to do anything with it. We've been holding on to it for years, and we just want to get rid of it. And so once the lead came in our system, we called them, and we found out that they just wanted to get rid of it. They were tired of paying taxes on it. They weren't doing anything with it. They owned it free and clear, and they had plans to build on it in the past, but road bumps in their life came up that prevented them from building on the land, and they never got the opportunity to build a house on it and live there. So they just really didn't need it, and they wanted to get rid of it. With land deals, the majority of the time you're going to run into this. You're going to run into that they just want to get rid of the land. They don't need it, they don't use it, they don't want to pay taxes on it, and they've just been holding on to it. It doesn't mean much to them, and they want to sell it. That's usually the motivation with vacant land kind of in the middle of nowhere. They just don't really need it. They don't want it. So that's always the motivation pretty much that I've ran into talking with sellers on vacant land that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So me and my team started doing research on the land, and we were checking if there was power to the property and if there was water to the property. Because if the property doesn't have well or it doesn't have power, it's ultimately worth a lot less money because it costs a lot of money in order to get power to a vacant piece of land, in order to get water, a well on a piece of land. So that's why those two things are highly important to figure out about the land before you start giving offers and whatnot, because a piece of land that has access to water and power is worth a lot more than a piece of land that doesn't. Remember that. But we did determine that this piece of land had access to water and power, which was a plus. So then we started talking about numbers with the seller. They told us that they bought the property for $5,000 about 20 years ago. And after paying all the taxes, they were up to about $10,000 on the piece of land. That's basically what they're in on it for. And they said they wanted to get around $15,000. We were able to negotiate and bring them down to $12,000 for the lot, and we got it under contract. But we got it under contract with a 90-day close of escrow, right? We weren't going to have to close on the deal for 90 days. And that's what you want to do with vacant land. You want to get a long close of escrow because it takes a lot longer to sell than a house, because not as many people are looking for vacant land. So make sure you get a longer close of escrow. That way you have more time to market the property. Remember that. So now that we have the property under contract, we didn't need to go and drive to the property to get pictures of it because it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. All we had to do was screenshot the Google satellite view of it on the map and then use that to market the property. So we got that screenshot of the Google satellite view of the map, and we email blasted it out to all the cash buyers in Arizona. We posted it on Facebook and Craigslist as well. But then also we listed the property on the market, because in my purchase contract, which you can go download at jacobblank.com/free, there's a link in the description. Go download my contracts and scripts. But in my purchase contract, it says buyer is able to market the property on the following services: the internet, LoopNet, the multiple listing service, the MLS, right? So our contract that the seller signs allows us to market the property on the MLS. So we listed the property on the market, okay? We listed it on the property on the market. We listed it with equitable interest. What does equitable interest mean? It means that we have equitable interest in the property because we have it under contract. And the MLS in Arizona And a lot of other MLSs in other states allow you to do this. They allow you to list a property with equitable interest even though you don't own it already. Just because you have it under contract makes you able to list it. And guess what that does for us, right? If a property is on the market, guess how many more eyes we are going to get on the property? Where do people go look, right? When they're looking for a piece of land out in a certain area, they're going to reach out to a realtor and say, hey, are you able to do a search for me on the MLS and let me know if there's any vacant land in this area that's available around this price? And so you wind up getting a lot more buyers looking at your land. So that's exactly what we did. We put it on Facebook, Craigslist, and email blasted it to all the cash buyers and listed it on the market. And you know, after about 30, 40 days, we started getting offers on it. We took one offer. We took an offer for $36,000 for the property. Now, the reason we took this offer for $36,000 was because we were gonna pay the realtor that was representing the buyer a $2,000 flat fee. The buyer was also going to pay all closing costs. So if we pay the realtor $2,000, we are left with $34,000. $34,000 minus 12, we make a $22,000 assignment fee. So this was a pretty big land deal. So sometimes it is tricky though when you're dealing with a realtor off the market because they're not used to using assignment contracts. But after you talk the realtor through it, you're like, here it is. You know, it's a one-page assignment contract. It's pretty simple. I'm going to throw your commission in right here in other terms. I'm going to write it up that you're going to get a $2,000 flat fee commission. Then they understand, okay, it makes sense, and it will actually be easier than using all the regular paperwork. So they agreed to doing an assignment contract and we assigned it to the buyer. The buyer was also going to put down $5,000 non-refundable earnest money, so we knew that the buyer was firm and good on the deal. We sent all the paperwork to title and we got them to deposit the $5,000 non-refundable earnest money, and now we went through the transaction process. Throughout the transaction process, we ran into some headaches. They needed to do a survey, they needed to check with the county on a couple things, because with land, you know, you got to do a survey, make sure the lot lines are all correct, and then sometimes because if the lot line's off a little bit, you got to check with the city and the county to make sure that it's okay, and different things like that. So there's always these little headaches with you know, the lot lines and the zoning and whatnot when it comes to land, but ultimately you're able to push past those road bumps, figure it out, and get the deal to the finish line, and that's exactly what we did. So after we got the assignment contract signed, it took about 30 days for them to actually close on the deal, but that was perfectly okay because again, we set a 90-day close with the seller. It took us about 30, 40 days to market it and get a buyer, and then it took us another 30 days for the buyer to close. So we actually closed on the deal and got the seller paid earlier than 90 days. And the seller was super ecstatic about this. You know, they made a couple grand on the land. It didn't really mean much to them, and they were just happy to sell it and stop paying taxes on it. Overall, this was a great land deal. Me and my company, we do so many land deals. I think we have about 6 active land deals in the pipeline right now that we are marketing for a buyer. I believe we have 6 properties, 6 vacant pieces of land on the market looking for a buyer. I believe we have 2 in Florida, 2 in Texas, and 2 in Arizona on the market. And it's so easy to lock up land. Literally, the sellers don't need the land. They don't need it, they don't use it, they just want to sell it, and they don't really care about it. So they'll take less money and they'll give you as much time as you need. So literally locking up land is so easy. Usually when my acquisition guys are struggling to lock up deals and they're like, shoot, we need to get more contracts, this sucks, I'm struggling to lock up houses, they go after land, and we wind up getting 4 or 5 land contracts in 1 week when they go after land. So I guarantee you, if you try to go after land, it is so easy to lock up, but sometimes it is a lot harder to sell, and it is harder to evaluate and comp and figure out what it is worth. But ultimately, land wholesaling can make you so much money. But that is pretty much it for this video. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button. Also, there's links in the description for all these real estate services that you can use in your business in order to get more deals. And all those links in the description save you money. You get monthly discounts on every single service. So check out those real estate resources in the description. And also, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you go down below, hit the red button, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me reach more people and impact more lives. So I'd really appreciate it if you go subscribe. Other than that, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.